You're listening to the podcast between doctors and friends. Welcome to another episode of Between Doctors and Friends podcast. We have here Dr. Foz and Dr. Ray, two board certified physicians. I will start with Dr. Foz. We haven't talked or recorded an episode for 2 weeks. How have you been?
Still alive.
Still alive.
Still
Any
alive. Came back for more.
and then we're gonna move on to Dr. Ray.
I'm
How
doing
have you
well.
been?
Yeah, doing well. Again, yeah, surviving, living, loving, trying to enjoy what I can of life. So, yeah.
There you go. Dr. Foss, any special emergencies from Memorial Weekend from your patients? Everyone doing
Thankfully,
okay?
no. It's not always that exciting. Nothing of note.
Nothing of
Stability
that.
is a good thing. I don't want
Good.
people to be sick too, so,
Nice. And Dr. Ray, anything special that happened to you with your patients?
Well, I didn't work Memorial Day weekend, so that was lovely, so that I had the time off, but I'm working this weekend. But nothing out of the ordinary this week that happened. I think everything was pretty straightforward. I love it when we have a short week. I love a 4-day work week. But otherwise, everything else looked and was fine this week.
Nice. And we have a speaker here, Auntie Derek, coming from auntiederek.com. Hello, Auntie Derek.
Hello, happy hello, doctors. I'm always happy to be. Always a pleasure.
Hey, Auntie.
I know. I am
We love to have you.
yeah, I'm probably gonna be a little bit slow and I literally just got back from my vacation an hour ago. Mentally. I mean physically I've been back.
Mentally.
I don't know what day it is. All I know is my alarm clock says that we have a podcast recording today. And then I know Dr. Ray is working today. So what does that mean, Dr. Ray?
Well, I'm on call, so I'm at the hospital doing my shift. So whatever pregnant or patients that come in today, then I'll be addressing them.
Okay. Well, okay, I have a question. So last night I was at the airport and saw this young couple. They have twins and it looks like they have newborn. Like I was told by someone who was with me who was a pediatrician that they look like they're less than 1 month old.
Uh-huh.
Dr. Ray, is that safe to have them out and about at an airport at less than 1 month?
Usually, most pediatricians won't say to take them out until they're at least 6 weeks old. So that is quite early. So, I mean, they might just have looked small, or maybe she didn't get a great look, but usually you don't want to take them out in public for the first 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Why is that?
Just risk of infection. Because
Okay.
exposure, they haven't gotten all their full vaccines. They're still small. They don't have the antibodies. So they can have risk of infection.
Okay, so they're like puppies. Dr.
Yeah.
Foz, right?
Like puppies.
'Cause she's like, I'm not a
Well,
vet.
Your puppy hasn't had its rabies and parvo shot, so don't take it out. Yeah, but I think everybody does it anyway. When I was a younger doctor and I would also have to work labor and delivery, it would crack me up because like the L&D nurses who would have babies, it's like their third kid or whatever. And I remember one was like she had her baby and then she like took it to Costco the next day. She was like, I had to go and there wasn't anybody to watch it. And I mean, it's my third kid. I know what I'm doing. And she just like went to Costco.
Did she use one of those like electric chairs?
I don't know what she did. I think she just like, oh, I'm in labor. Out comes the baby, and I got to go to Costco. Just went to Costco.
Well, Costco is my jam, so
So I think it's probably ideal, and it probably is worse at certain times of year and where you live. Like if you live somewhere where it's like harsh and like, there's like sleet outside, maybe don't take the baby out at that point. But and also if it's like, in the height of flu season or RSV season, which is a real concern for little ones, maybe not. But I mean, people are going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah, we were watching them. I'm like, it's probably their first child. The twins were the dad's, like, each of his shoulder, and he was up at the counter, ticketing counter, and it was
Also, I mean, twins will sometimes be born a little early, and so they might be a little smaller looking
ah,
than, they might be out of the oven longer than you think. And then um sometimes emergencies happen.
yeah.
For all we know, they were flying for a family emergency or something and they have to take the babies with them. I mean, stuff happens.
What was their ethnicity? Was
They
it
were
Asian?
Asian. Uh-huh.
Okay. So I'm gonna throw something out there, with twins and being that small, that they might have been surrogate babies. Because surrogacy is not allowed in Asian countries, especially China. So I have a lot of patients who are, surrogates for Chinese families. So it's possible that those babies were born here via surrogate, and now they're returning back to, their homeland.
There's a million
Get out of
scenarios.
here.
Wha
Yeah,
wha
yeah. So that could be a possibility too. So
Yeah.
when those babies, when those families come over, sometimes they don't make the birth. Because you can't always predict when the birth is going to happen, but the babies will stay in the hospital until their biological parents come pick them up, and then they take them, probably to a hotel or Airbnb for, a couple of weeks or whatever, and then they take them back to their home. So that could have been that situation as well. So
Yeah.
you don't know what it may have been.
Especially with twins too, right?
Yeah, twins, Asian, small. Yeah, I'll bet a little bit of money on that.
Wow. I should have taken a photo because we were just commenting that, the mom looked great and
Yeah,
she was still petite and
yeah,
Yeah, maybe she didn't deliver.
yeah.
Maybe she was
So
just
and that's
pushing up.
common.
yeah.
Wow.
hmm So probably, yeah. So possibly a very high chance that that's what that situation was.
All right. Well, that ends this episode. Thanks.
Well,
Did I solve your mystery?
when I have
Yeah.
worked when I
With
have worked
Ross.
with a higher with patients with a little bit more disposable income,
Yeah.
I have also seen that. Like, "Oh, yeah, we want a baby, but we're gonna do it through surrogate."
Yeah.
Th- uh,
Well, it's the very popular thing to do nowadays for people who are wealthy, because pregnancy is a very dangerous condition. And, if you have money to put that somewhere, there's a lot of ethics and morality, questions that have arisen from surrogacy. So, but you see it with all of these celebrities, these celebrities, a lot of them have no reason why they can't get pregnant other than the fact that, they'll gain weight, or they can't continue working or doing their fashion or whatever it is that they do. And they, just outsource having the baby, you
well, I'm a little bit
know.
like out of words. This is really cool. I mean, it's taken this conversation to a different direction. Uh, tell tell me what is the process of having a surrogate?
Well, I deal with them after they're pregnant and they come to me. But from my understanding, fertility clinics will have a program where they have, viable surrogate candidates come to them, and they'll do some testing on them and take their medical and surgical history and deem whether or not they could potentially be a successful surrogate. Then there are the infertile couples that come to the fertility center because they want to try and get pregnant, and maybe they've gone through IVF and they've done several treatments and they just have not been successful. And then the topic of potential surrogacy comes up. And then if they do want to go down that route, then the fertility center will pair them with what they think is a successful or a match to a surrogate. And then once they have the surrogate, they will take the egg from the mom, the sperm from the dad, and they create an embryo. And once that embryo is stable and I believe 5 to 7 days old, then they implant that embryo into the surrogate. And then, God willing, that egg will grow or that embryo will grow and develop into a baby, and that infertile couple will then be blessed to be able to take a baby home. So that's
Wow.
the
The look,
general, yeah.
sorry, I just have to interrupt really quick. The look on our host's face is hilarious.
And you can't see it, but that's how my face looks also.
But surrogacy, I mean, it's quite expensive. So it really is something that only the very wealthy or well off or people willing to go into a lot of debt can afford and achieve. I see ads for surrogates all the time. And then I ask my patients how much they're getting paid. And they're getting paid anywhere between $70,000 and $90,000, plus all of their medical expenses taken care of, and sometimes their living expenses taken care of as well. So there's a really incredible financial incentive for these women to become surrogates. A lot of people will kind of give you that, oh, I'm doing it out of the generosity of my heart, and I really want to help this family, but they're making, $70 to $100,000. That's somebody's, income, and possibly even more income than that surrogate would have made at their job. So they're making quite a bit of money for um for for doing this.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is there a website where you could apply to be a surrogate, or
I'm
there's
sure
gotta
there
be,
is.
right?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure all the big infertility centers and infertility clinics will have that for them. And like I said, I see ads all the time from the infertility clinic saying, be a surrogate, make, 70,000 plus. So there definitely is, a pathway for people who want to do that. Now, being pregnant is no easy feat. It is very difficult on your body, and it can be, quite dangerous. Luckily, most of the pregnant women who have their babies have them without complications or problems, but there can be situations where you have life-threatening issues. And so the surrogates, even though they're getting paid quite a bit, are, potentially risking quite a lot as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Uh, I I'm lost for words.
Yeah, I don't honestly, I don't think $70,000 to $90,000 is enough. I think it can be, these women are going to be selected out for, probably previous successful pregnancies, and they're probably, obviously younger and healthier and all those things. But honestly,
Yeah.
it just, my goodness, I think
Have you
babies are
guys
born.
have you ever met a woman that, like, kind of she's done it more than once?
Yeah, I have
She's been a
patients.
surrogate.
I have patients. I think the most I've had a patient who did 4 surrogacies.
Wow,
Yeah.
and
It's like a
uh,
career.
Yeah. Well, it's a way that they're making money. She had her 2 babies, and then she did 4 surrogate pregnancies, and she's, home with her kids just being pregnant, but she's making almost 100 grand. So that's quite a bit of money, for I mean, a lot of people, I I mean, majority of people are not making 100 grand, right? Even,
mhm,
school teachers and, bus drivers and mail carriers, these people aren't making 100 grand. They're going to work every day, working 8-hour shifts, and not getting near that much money. And, for a surrogate, to have a baby and you know, get paid that amount of money, it really can be quite life-changing for them. And luckily, like I said, like this particular patient, she had 4, and they were 4 uncomplicated, pregnancies and deliveries, and it probably brought her family, quite a bit of income.
Wow.
I
That is
wonder if she's gonna try to do more, if there's like a limit.
I
Yeah, is there a limit?
I think there is a limit that they'll stop, because the more babies you have, the higher risk you have of complications in general. So even if she had like all 6 of those babies herself, we would be counseling against not having more because of higher risk of complications, and especially as she gets older. And the biggest complication would be postpartum hemorrhage in these what we call grand multiparous patients. So they probably do reach a point where they are saying that the surrogacy agencies are probably saying that they're not a good candidate anymore.
Wow.
Maxed out.
Would yeah, is there like an age limit before you hit 35? What's
So I was always under the impression that they had an age limit of 38, and that after age 38 that they did not have those women become surrogates, because the older you get, the older your risk of high blood pressure, diabetes, preterm delivery becomes. But I have a current surrogate who is 41. And she was a surrogate with me before. This is her second surrogacy. She was a surrogate with me before, and I want to say she was like 38, 39 when she did that surrogacy. And so I asked her, I said, did they say that there was a limit or anything? And for the agency that she's going through, they said no, as long as she met the health requirements and everything, that they were fine with her being another surrogate.
Yeah, and sometimes they might be like targeted surrogates, like she might be carrying a child for a family member.
yeah.
Yeah, possibly, but not in this situation.
Well, so if you're an Asian surrogate and you're doing it for I'm just asking such a stupid question because I just got back from vacation and I'm not thinking. My brain is turned off. And you're a surrogate for, let's say, either a black couple or a white couple. Will the baby have any Asian in there?
No, because the
Stupid.
genetic
Okay.
I'm so stupid.
All right.
yeah,
Wait a minute.
the
No.
genetic material is donated by the biological father and the biological mother. So whatever the biological parent's race is, that baby will be that race. So if a black woman and a black man create this embryo and they place this embryo in a white woman, the baby is not going to be partially white. It'll
Like
be full black.
completely sealed. I know that
Yes.
was stupid, but someone
Yeah,
has to ask a stupid question.
there's
Look,
no
I sat next to you in biology, so you should know this.
Yeah, all the genetic material from the biological parents.
So nothing at all. Like the baby doesn't get anything from the surrogate. Nothing.
As far as genetics go, no, but that
But
surrogate's body is creating and nourishing this baby. And so, yes, they do get they get their life from that body, from that
yeah,
person. Yeah.
that is so fascinating. I mean,
Yeah, and so
it's
like if the
yeah,
surrogate does bad stuff, like if the surrogate like abuses drugs or drinks too much alcohol, that could affect that pregnancy. But
Yeah.
that's not a genetic factor.
yeah,
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
And then you guys just kind of woke me up, and I don't know where my brain goes. I'm gonna have to get Auntie to to- wow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
well,
guys,
I
it's
It's a
think
normal.
pretty fascinating world, and for those
Yeah,
people who really need it, for those
yeah,
couples, so I always ask my surrogates, like, who are the family and everything, and a lot of times, there's somebody in Asia or somebody in Australia, some foreign person, because those countries don't have they don't allow surrogacy. It's against the law, so they have to go international. And so I always ask about the families, and sometimes the families are local to where we are, or in the area, or close enough that they come. And so occasionally these the biological family will come to the visits with the surrogate, and so you get a chance to meet them because they happen to be local or, within a couple hours drive. And so then you get to meet them and everything, and you get to know them, and you do, you feel for them. Obviously they wouldn't be in this situation if they could just get pregnant the old-fashioned way, but by the time they've reached this point, they've tried to get pregnant on their own for several years, then they probably went to a couple of doctors, and then they ended up in an infertility place, and they probably tried a couple of times with that, and they've probably spent $100,000+ and come to the realization that maybe, it's not going to work and we need to go down the route of a surrogate. So this is kind of like the last thing that they've done in probably 5 years of, hope and failure and desperation and everything. And they're finally at this point, they finally have a baby on the way, and you can just see and feel like they're, all the things that they've gone through. So it is quite a miracle, and it is quite an incredible thing for these surrogates to do. Where it becomes this sort of gray zone, unethical, potential zone is when people abuse this. So, like I said, there are quite a few celebrities. It's now the sort of in thing to do is all these people have, most of the celebrities, I'll say, like, they'll have one pregnancy just so I feel like they can just take pictures and just kind of post it and look at my body and everything. But after that, for their subsequent children, then they all go to surrogates, because then, they've lost the baby weight, they've accomplished whatever it is, they don't want to get pregnant again, but they want, more children, and they go down that surrogacy route. And, there's no reason that needs to be done other than the fact that this person has money and does not want to be pregnant themselves. So there is some ethical, issues with that.
So right on the screen, I posted, there's an article about this, the sick obsession drove this Cali surrogacy scam. Are you aware of this story?
I don't
Surrogacy
know
scam.
this story, but I mean, there's a lot of stories. I don't know if this is the one, but there are people from maybe foreign countries who come and will have surrogates in multiple cities, like in the US, and have multiple babies on the way because they are, for whatever reason, maybe they have that like Elon Musk mentality that they need to repopulate the earth type of a thing. And there is one case that there's a single man who's unmarried, who had like 20 to 25 babies via surrogacy. And, he went to different agencies all over and used an egg donor and used his sperm and then hired a surrogate, and then would send family members, because he can't be everywhere at one time. Family members would go and get the baby and then pick the baby up and bring it back to China. And so those types of things, once they, and it's hard to catch on, because if he has a surrogate in LA, and then he has a surrogate in New York, and then he has one in Houston and one in Chicago, those clinics are not talking to each other or know that, this is happening. They think that they're helping this person have a family, and he comes and lies to them and says, this is my first baby. I don't have any kids. I don't have anybody. I want to have a child, and these fertility clinics, are doing what they think is the right thing to do. So there is a lot of a lot of gray area in it that probably needs to be regulated more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just
So
want to go quiet and kind of read up on this. I was not prepared for this topic. Dr. Foz?
yeah. It's a pretty interesting topic and everything. And like I said, it serves an incredible purpose. There are same-sex couples that this is the only way that they're going to grow a family. There are, people who have had, hysterectomies at a young age, or maybe they had cancer at a young age, and this is the only way that they'll be able to be a family. So it really is, an incredible field. And like I said, it really is magnanimous and, wonderful that it exists. But like anything, humans, for whatever reason, we abuse everything, and anything that could be wonderful and good and honest, a human is going to find a way to
Abuse
manipulate
it.
it and
Yeah.
abuse it and profit from it. So that's the unfortunate part right now. So yeah. So yeah,
Agreed.
it's an interesting
It's
field.
yeah, it's a wide range of why and a wide range of how.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
Dr. Ray just introduced me to a podcast over the weekend called Love. What is it, Dr. Ray?
Love Trapped.
Love Trapped. And I think there should be one for this surrogacy thing, this surrogacy scandal that's happening. Yeah,
That's not about a surrogacy. That podcast is not about
it's not about
surrogacy.
surrogacy.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's just a crazy podcast.
Uh,
So
why don't we talk about it? Pregnancy. Pregnancy. So, Dr. Ray, why don't you kind of give the basis of that podcast?
of what the podcast is.
Uh,
Okay. So there's this, okay, so I guess it's out there, so I can use names and stuff like that because it's on the podcast. So there's this woman named Laura Owens, and I think she's in the Los Angeles area. It's either Los Angeles or San Diego area. I can't. No, sorry. It's in
both.
Arizona. I take that
Arizona.
back. It's in Arizona. Yeah. So it's in the Phoenix, Arizona area. And she met one of the Bachelor contestants. And I don't watch The Bachelor, so I didn't know who he was. And basically tricked him into thinking she was pregnant, and went kind of crazy psycho and refused to like prove it and everything, and took him to court for child support and all this stuff, and to prove paternity, but refused to let the court know that she, or prove anything that she was pregnant. And I guess it was happening during COVID times or Zoom times. And so she never actually had to physically go into the court. Everything was over Zoom. And then it comes out that she had done this like twice before. And she had probably never been pregnant. And it's just jaw-dropping, the stuff that happened. And these poor men, I feel so bad for them. And this absolutely insane woman. I think, Auntie Derek, you have to listen to it. It's like, it's so salacious, but it's absolutely crazy podcast. Very
Right up my
entertaining.
alley.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very entertaining, but absolutely just like my jaw hit the ground so many times when I was listening to it. I was like, "Oh my God." So
what
it got me motivated to do like stuff around the house, because I was like, you know what? If I just like clean up or do this, I'll just put that podcast on and listen to it or whatever. So it got me like through like doing some things around the house or doing some stuff that like I didn't want to do, because I was like listening and I was like, "Oh my God," the
well
whole time.
as a doctor, what can you not believe about it?
I mean, it's so much to go into about it, but just the way that she was just sort of faking the pregnancy. And then all of a sudden it was twins. And then she was doing all of her prenatal care online. She never went to go see a doctor. And that just is not how it works, especially with a twin pregnancy. A twin pregnancy is a high risk pregnancy. You need to go in and be seen. And she was like stealing ultrasounds from the internet and claiming that they were hers. And just like, I mean, like these poor men, like, a lot of it is just their gullibility and idiocy of believing this stuff. And the whole time I was like, oh my God, this is not how pregnancy works. Like she would be like, oh, I was bleeding and I thought I was in preterm labor and I was miscarrying. So I did a telemedicine visit with someone. Okay. And then they'd be like, who'd you do it with? Well, I don't remember. Okay. Well, was it a doctor or a nurse? Well, I don't remember. Okay. Well, what did they tell you to do? They just said do nothing and then it's fine. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. Absolutely not. Anybody trained in any kind of prenatal care, if you call them with twins and say that you're bleeding, they're going to say, get your ass to a hospital now. She never went to a hospital. She apparently had multiple miscarriages with all these people and all this stuff, and never ever saw a doctor in person or went to a hospital in person. And then, like, I don't want to give it away too much, but she then loses this twin pregnancy, and the way she describes it is absolutely does not is not real at all. Like the whole time and the whole podcast, I was like, why aren't these podcast people getting a doctor on their podcast to be like, this woman is making everything up. She's batshit crazy. This is not how it works. Absolutely not. So, but so the whole I was just livid the whole time because the medicine was wrong. It's like when I watch Grey's Anatomy or The Pit and they have like, a pregnancy scene and I'm just like, this is wrong. Everything in this scene is wrong. This is not how we do it. So I was just livid the whole time. But it's a very it's a good podcast. So what did you guys think when you were listening to it?
I mean, aside from the commercials, it was like, and then, oh no, oh no,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna have to ask this in my podcast this weekend.
But it's fun to like listen with people. I thought like this would be something fun to listen on a road trip or like with people because you can just like talk about how you're like I was like in my backyard picking up my dog poop, like screaming, going like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this," and there's nobody to like talk to about it. So then I was like, okay, I got to tell people to listen to this so I can talk to them and be like, this woman is absolutely insane. And she's still out there. She's still out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
So I'm gonna bring in Dr. Foz here. Um, so like telehealth, let's say this woman I mean, how can you
Virtual care is not appropriate for everything. I'm sorry.
okay,
And like, how can you have a newborn and all you do, like, who's doing the vaccines? I mean, there are certain things that just can't be done virtual. And any responsible provider will be like, you know what, you need to come in, like, or you need to go to the urgent care or emergency room, and that's just what has to happen. Like, I get people who want virtual calls all the time for
okay.
ear infections. They're like, my ear hurts. What do I do? I'm like, well, you're going to have to either come in here or go somewhere where somebody can look in your ear and figure out what the problem is.
Okay, so a question for both of you. Um, this guy that was trapped, what are the things that he can do when he's being tricked that way? Like, what would he
That would
need to ask for?
I mean, I would have been like, okay, let me go with you to the doctor's office and let me talk to the doctor straight and one, make sure that you are in fact pregnant. That is like step one. Like either, don't
Yeah,
just
these
like,
are legal questions,
yeah,
like, it's like these are legal questions, like, how do you protect yourself? It's like, hey,
Yeah,
just like in anything, in any court case of anything, you need a trail of evidence as well as a
yeah,
chain of evidence, right? Like,
yeah,
you taking a picture of a positive, pregnancy test and posting it to your Instagram is not proof of pregnancy.
yeah, yeah. So I would have, I like, if it was my son or my brother, or I knew this
yeah.
guy, my friend, I would be like, look, you need to go with her to a facility and have some professional tell you that yes, she is pregnant and show you with an ultrasound with your own eyes, and that's step 1. And then step 2 would be, if you have doubt, then after the baby's born, then establish paternity, find out the paternity, and then you go from there. But
Yeah, first thing
she
is retain an attorney. That's the first thing.
yeah, yeah.
Can
But
can another party tell a woman what doctor to see, or does
No.
it have to be her doctor, or
It's whatever her,
I mean,
so
it's
legal matters can require, like, and this is usually more for, like, accident things and stuff, well, can require, like, a third party, like, you have to use a certain place or something that can happen, but
okay,
so, like, occupational health is like that. Like, you can't just go often to your regular doctor, because occupational health things are out of it's usually about who's covering the problem, right? So if you work at a retail place and you get injured at that retail place and you have whatever insurance, like, that retail place is responsible for your injury. Your insurance is not responsible because they're not the ones who caused the harm. Like if it's a work related problem, let's say, right?
okay,
So they don't want to have to pay for it. That's where occupational health comes into play in workers' comp. So there are situations where you cannot really use your regular doctor for the care that you would do, though a lot of times that's bypassed. That has everything to do with insurance and insurance coverage. That's not necessarily because nobody wants to take care of you, right? It's just that. But it's hard to know because a lot of these things are going to be legal matters. I can't imagine that any judge or attorney group would say, okay, you can't get your prenatal care from the obstetrician of your choice or the obstetrician that you've been seeing already, um but they can, you know um have a hearing where a judge has to issue a request for medical records, and like you need to provide proof that you've been seeing an obstetrician for prenatal care and that you are in fact pregnant.
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, I just do all this stuff through telemed, and I don't know who the people are, and I can't remember what it is." And then they'd be like, "Well, how'd you pay for it? Do you have credit card receipts?" "Oh, well, I paid using a gift card, using this." I mean, it's just like one lie after another. I was just like,
So
the
for
whole
the
time,
record,
it's ridiculous.
can doctors accept payment as gift cards as payment?
No, we don't
No.
take
Well,
gift
I mean, you
cards.
can if you're in private practice and that's what you're
I
willing
mean,
to accept if somebody's not
but
insured.
if you're
But
using it as like a credit card gift, like if you have a Visa gift card
Yeah.
and you're using it to swipe, your
Yeah.
for your
copay, then
copay,
yes,
yeah.
then we'll take that. But you
But
can't, yeah,
I can't pay you with like Kohl's coupons.
no, 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 no. But what
Like,
I'm
I don't want
saying,
you walking in with like, "Okay,
yeah,
I don't have the money for this, but I have 2
no,
$50 Domino's pizzas gift cards. Will you just take these instead?"
yeah,
That
no.
becomes that violates the
That's
terms and
like,
agreements of your insurance actually,
yeah,
because
that's
Oh,
you
really?
have to pay
probably
your
like rural
copay.
medicine when, yeah, or like
Yeah, that's
rural medicine when they
bartering,
got
not
paid
paying
in chicken
out.
eggs. Yeah. But no, she would say that because there'd be no tracking on her credit card. So
Uh-huh.
she'd be like, "I used a gift card to pay some online service who did an ultrasound, and this is what the ultrasound is." And I'm
Yeah,
just like,
see,
"No."
that's when you need an attorney. Seriously, it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody's telling you something like this that can, change your life like this and your response is like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I want proof." And if you
Yeah.
haven't asked for it or demanded it or like had like, like, "Hey, this is an official inquiry," then you're also stupid and you get whatever you deserve.
Yeah. Oh my God, just listen to this, and you just listen
Like
to
wear
like
a condom more because we don't want your genes in this society, okay?
listen to it on your drive, Dr. Foz. Like just listen to it and
All
just
right.
like it is just absolutely
Ho-
insane. This woman is
Homework
absolutely
for the next
insane. It's
episode.
absolutely insane.
We're going to break down Love Trap from a doctor,
No.
board certified physician's point of view.
No. It's
That
just
is absurd.
entertainment. It's just
Totally
entertainment.
ridiculous.
I
Yeah.
know. She should have gone the surrogacy route. She'd make more money.
No, but she doesn't want a baby. She's trying to trap the
Oh,
men. It was not about having a baby. It was trapping these men into being her boyfriend. So the men would break up with her and she would be like, "Well, you can't break up with me. I'm pregnant." And then, then she'd trap them. That's what the thing is. She
wow.
love trapped them. She trapped them into staying, and then she trapped them into staying into their lives because she was be like, "Okay, I'm pregnant." And then like a couple months later, she goes, "Oh, well, they'd be like, "Look,
Can
I can't do this." And she says, "Well, I'm pregnant with twins."
can you play
And then
Billie Jean in the background, please?
yeah. So it's like she just one ups it every single time, and then she puts out restraining orders on them just so she sees them in court, and then she just, I mean, just the amount of stuff she did to mess these poor men's lives up. Like she basically just was didn't want to let them go as a boyfriend, and so this is
And
what she
wants
did.
money. And so
Um,
my only response to any of this, wear a
I don't
condom.
know
A condom.
exactly. I don't even know
I don't think
if
they had.
she
I
yeah,
mean,
well, first of all, for one of them, the Bachelor one, they didn't even have sex. So this is how crazy this story is. They didn't even have
Then
sex,
then you need
okay?
an attorney and a restraining order against her. I'd be like, "Okay, this one's
Yeah.
crazy."
So
yeah.
it's so out of control. I don't remember, but I don't think she wanted money from them. She literally was manipulating them to
Oh, it's
stay
just,
and
like,
be
totally
her boyfriend.
psychiatric. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
she just wanted them to be her
That's it.
boyfriend. That's it. Yeah. That was my understanding. I maybe have to listen to it again because, like I said, a lot of the times I was just like screaming out loud, so I may have missed some parts of it. But I don't think that she was trying to get money. I think that she was, she maybe was trying to get like lawyer expenses or something, but Yeah, it's just a
Yeah,
very
see,
crazy
that's when you have
story.
to lawyer up or ask for
Yeah.
proof or like,
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Well, to the host of Love Trap, we invite you to our session, or I can send
Then you'd be
Dr.
like,
Ray,
why do we
Dr.
want to talk to these
Cosby,
people?
No,
right?
I don't. I
But
think she has a lot of listeners. I don't want to be famous, so I don't want to try and go on anyone's podcast or anything.
well,
So
I was gonna just
she just
charge her
needs
Domino
to get.
Pizza coupons.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, her podcast is over, but it probably would have been nice while she was doing it to have gotten an opinion of some doctor. That's all I would say.
well,
But yeah,
we're here to help promote your show. So
yeah.
They were like, who are these clowns?
Yeah. She's like, what? Oh, they have 5 listeners? Okay, never mind.
And it's the 5 that are
Here.
showed
Yeah.
up here today.
Ay. Anything else, Auntie? Any comments? Any questions? Because
Well, no, and I'm actually not surprised by any of this because stuff like this. We actually on my podcast we were talking with a girl, offline, whose ex-boyfriend was using the law to like file frivolous lawsuits against her, like even sued her for child support for children they don't even have. So I'm not surprised by any of this.
Yeah. That's
wow,
awful. That's
wow.
awful.
Well, there you go. And I think he didn't even have a lot of money at that time. So you're right, Dr. A.
Yeah.
Whew. All right. Well, that concludes this episode of Between Doctors and Friends. We'll keep it short. We will you'll hear from us again next week. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.